Well, guys, there you have it. The left is making their plans, and those plans include putting Trump supporters on what they call lists. And one can only imagine the devious plans that are in place to essentially blacklist any Trump supporter, keeping them from the ability to get a job, the ability essentially to interact in society as a normal person. So, you guys are watching the Millennial Conservative YouTube channel here on YouTube. If you guys like my channel, please feel free to share it out. And if you guys could subscribe to my channel, that would be much appreciated, as well as liking and commenting on all my videos. So, in case you guys haven't heard, in the past few days, none other than AOC has come out again. And this time she is exposing another one of the devious plans of the left. If essentially Biden gets into the office of the presidency, and if they manage to, they don't even need to get the majority in all these houses to start trying to compile lists. And the irony here is that the same group that likes to call Trump supporters fascists and Nazis, that same group is sitting here telling us that they're going to compile lists of their opponents and people they disagree with. There is nothing more fascistic than creating lists of your opponents or people you disagree with to try to do harm to them or try to set things up so harm can befall them. So you have here AOC facing heat for wanting to archive online posts by Trump sycophants, as she likes to call them. So they want to archive all of the work we do online. They want to archive this video right here, all your tweets, all your Facebook posts. They want to archive that. And they want to put that in the public record, create profiles on you essentially, and then try to out you to prospective companies that might want to hire you, to your current employer to try and get you fired. They are out for blood, and they want to destroy your livelihood if you are conservative and you support the president, Donald Trump. So it says here, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, is facing heat for urging her supporters to create an archive of online postings by what she calls Trump sycophants who may later regret their affiliation with the president. So she's threatening anybody who decides that they want to support President Trump. And again, there is nothing more fascistic than literally threatening people for voting for somebody you don't agree with. And there are thousands upon thousands of people that agree with this, that literally think it's okay to compile lists based on your political affiliation. And that should terrify every single freedom-loving, red-blooded American. So, quote, is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay or deny their complicity in the future? Ocasio-Cortez tweeted on Friday. Quote, I foresee decent probability of many deleted tweets, writings, photos in the future, the lawmaker wrote. So she's, first of all, most of us, you want to put us on a list? Go ahead and try it, because most of us aren't going to run around scared because you're going to try to compile a list and try and go after us for supporting the president. I think people like AOC and a lot of the people on the left are vastly underestimating what they're doing right now. And they're vastly underestimating the people who they're threatening, because the people who they're threatening generally are the people who are armed to the teeth. So we'll just leave it at that. So it says here, commenters quickly decided the list-making endeavor was something a ruthless communist dictator would love. That's exactly the point. This is communism. They like to try to hide their love for communism under the idea of democratic socialism, when basically democratic socialism is communism light. And if you embrace what they call democratic socialism, you're headed down the path to becoming a communist country. So it says here, quote, Joseph is proud of you, one user wrote, referring to the notorious Soviet Union dictator Joseph Stalin. Another person posted a photo of Mao Zedong with the caption, quote, big shoes to fill, but you'll get there. So at least people out there realize what is at stake here, and they realize the fact that we are headed down a scary path if people continue to embrace this type of behavior. It says Ocasio-Cortez received a since-deleted response from an ex-staffer of former President Barack Obama, Michael Simon, who shared a link to a site called the Trump Accountability Project. So there's already websites out there where they're actually trying to do this. And granted, some of this a lot of this information might be public, but the fact that they are literally sitting here compiling this information so that people can easily access, it can be made easily accessible, is rather scary. So it says here, the site says it aims to embarrass and hold accountable people complicit in the worst behaviors of Trump's presidency, including his campaign staff, White House staff, donors, and even lawyers. So if you so much as donate to the Trump campaign, they're going after you. And how many millions of people made even small donations to Trump's campaign? And they're literally putting, think about this, over 70 million people voted for President Trump to have him reelected. 70 million people, according to the numbers that we're seeing right now. Again, you don't know how, accurate a lot of these numbers are, but they're literally attacking 70 million American citizens here and threatening to put not quite 70 million American citizens on lists, but I mean, maybe it could even come to that. If they manage to get a hold of your voting record, they might compile, who's to say they wouldn't try and compile a list of everybody who even voted for President Trump? So it says, quote, the world should never forget those who, when faced with a decision, chose to put their money, their time, and their reputations behind separating children from their families, encouraging racism and anti-Semitism, and negligently causing the unnecessary loss of life and economic devastation from our country's failed response to the COVID-19 pandemic, the site reads. So this is a loaded statement here. Let's break this down a little. First of all, the separation of children at the border was done by none other than the fearless liberal socialist leader, Barack Obama. And part of the reason that even leading up to now, that some of these children were separated from their families at the border, it was because they don't even know if the people bringing those children across the border were their family to begin with. There's human trafficking. There's mass human trafficking going across the border, and they don't know who these people are bringing these children across the border. So that largely is why. And if the border was secured to begin with, this wouldn't even be an issue. So that's been debunked. And then encouraging racism and anti-Semitism. I say this time and time again. Tell me what Trump has done that actually makes him a racist, and nobody can say anything. And the left always likes to come and say, oh, well, if you ask that question, then that's part of the problem. So they like to deflect because they can't actually come up with anything that the president's done that makes him racist, when in reality, he's done more for the black community than Barack Obama did in 8 years. And he's also enacted prison reform, and he's been really doing a lot with the opportunity zones to try and help the communities, how do you say it? The communities that are hurting across the country, enabling them to rebuild themselves and get back to where they want to be. And then negligently causing the unnecessary loss of life with the COVID pandemic. If I recall, Trump was on top of this long before many of the Democrat legislators were. While a lot of the Democrat legislators were out there talking about going out and partying and going about your daily life, our President Donald Trump was on top of it trying to restrict travel from China, and he was being called xenophobic for doing so. So this is part of the fake news media bullshit that they like to spew. So it says the site's list of Trump loyalists has not been made public, and besides names, it's unclear what type of information would be provided. So there you have it. The New York Post reports about the idea of making lists. And this goes back, this isn't anything new, because this actually goes back at least a couple weeks and probably longer than that. They've been talking about this for quite a while now. You have here, urgent website lists Trump supporters and their home addresses just days before the election. And this is from Law Enforcement Today. So it says here, is there a website that is designed to stalk and harass supporters of President Donald Trump? The Gateway Pundit believes so. And they have revealed shocking information that should make anyone concerned. So this is the Gateway Pundit article right here. And also, guys, I will have all of these articles linked in the section below on my YouTube, on this YouTube video here. So you guys can actually go ahead and check out these articles and read them for yourself. in case you want to do a little more research of your own. So it says mysterious Donald Trump Watch website reveals addresses of local Trump donors for Antifa and BLM terrorist targeting. So they're actually putting these websites out there with the hopes that people from Antifa and BLM will pay these people a visit and try to target them, try to harass them, try to do who knows what. It says far left operatives created a Donald Trump Watch website recently to reveal local Trump donors in your community. Users are able to punch in the address of any location in the country, and a map will show you the name and address of any Trump donor in the area. So this is almost like the sex offender list, but these aren't sex offenders. These are just people that support the president. And to do this, again, should terrify everybody. We don't live in a socialist communist country. We should be able to support whoever we want and not have to fear for our life because we support a president that the socialists don't agree with. And this is the socialist tactics. They're starting to show their true colors now, and these are the kind of tactics that they're going to start trying to employ. And again, they're forgetting the vast majority of the military, law enforcement are very conservative and do support this president. And the vast majority of conservatives are, again, fully armed. So according to the website, they provide the names and addresses of Americans who give money to support a racist, according to this website. The website claims it is a privately owned website that is not affiliated with any government agencies. So it says, here's what they found. We looked at the registry company for Dynadot LLC. It was a small company in San Mateo, California, and now has 2 Chinese offices and a Toronto, Canada office. So there you have it. It has ties to China. Was there any reason to believe otherwise, that this wouldn't somehow be affiliated with China? And President Trump has been clamping down on China, and Joe Biden, if he gets in there, he's going to be the best. He's going to be China's best friend. So we're going to have a website now that's going to be geared towards tracking people that supported Trump, and then we're going to have a president there who's best friends with China, who is supporting who is funding and supporting this site that is going after their political opposition. You know, this is what they do in Russia. This is what they do in Russia. You know how we always talk about Russia, and suddenly Russia's out of the picture now that Joe Biden is the alleged president-elect? These are the tactics that take place in Russia. The political opponents, they make them disappear. They lock them up. And is that where we're headed right now if this starts to really take off? So it says it has our names, amount of donations, and our addresses according to the zip code. This could easily target donors in a single geographic area. And we all know how the left operates today. According to Wikipedia, Dynadot, the registering company, has offices, again, in California and in China. And this group behind the Trump supporters database is Public Service Media Group. And here are the online reviews for this deadly operation. So let's see if we can maybe zoom in a little here. These are the online reviews here. I would imagine the leftists who own this page are in hiding. This company, if that's what they are considered, is terrible, real scum lowlifes. They have a website where they publish all President Trump supporters' donors, so it makes it easier to be harassed by a terrorist group known as Antifa. And then finally it says, I'm looking for the owner of this site in order to add his name to a class action lawsuit. So these kind of people, these are the ones that need to be held accountable. People that are actually outright threatening other people. And you don't see this type of behavior coming from people on the right. You know, they like to run around and try and talk about how, you know, the right-wing Trump supporters are the fascists and the dictatorial-minded people. Last I checked, it was Antifa and BLM who was running around over the summer burning down half our cities while the media told us that it was nothing more than peaceful protests. So keep that in mind. And we really need to stay vigilant right now because they're taking this whole election thing, this whole left-right thing to an entirely new level. And if it starts to get to this point, it's time for everyone to wake up and realize what's at stake here and really start to pay attention. And we all need to come together and we all need to fight for our freedoms and the ability to support whomever you want to support as a political candidate without fear of retribution in any way, shape, or form. So that's what you have here right now. Again, guys, just stay informed and stay involved with what's going on. You guys are watching the Millennial Conservative YouTube channel here again. If you like my channel, please feel free to give it a quick subscribe, like the video, comment, and share. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good night.